Hello everybody, I'm Scott, lead photographer for Green Phantom Digital Media. Today, I'm going to cover one of the effects that I get the most requests for tutorials on, how to do a proper Glamour skin smoothing filter in Photoshop. Now the very first step for this process is to duplicate the photo. We need two identical copies of this photo on separate layers, one right over top of the other. Once we have our duplicate, we're going to click on the topmost layer and we're going to go to Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur. We want to set that Gaussian blur to 20 pixels. We want to have a little bit of range to work with. We're not going to use the full 20 pixel blur, but we want to have the ability to if we need it. Then we're going to go ahead and click OK. Now we're going to set the opacity of the layer to 50%. Some photos are a little higher, some are a little lower, but 50 is a good guide. Then we're going to hold down the Alt key and hit the mask button. Now, when we held down that Alt key as we hit the mask button, it blacked out the entire mask, which means it made the entire effect go away. We can take a white paintbrush and paint that effect back in wherever we like. The reason that we did it this way is because when we just want to blur skin, it's a lot easier to black out the entire effect and then just paint in the areas we want, rather than having to go through and do little minute detail painting out all the areas that we don't want blurred. So right now, all we're doing is going over to the skin with a white, soft round paintbrush and painting the blur back in where necessary. Now, if you were paying really close attention while I did that, you'll notice I was pretty sloppy with how I blurred things. I blurred the eyes out, I blurred the mouth out, and a number of other things. One of the things that we want to make sure that we have is we have really crisp, hard lines, like lines between clothing and skin, lines between joints, lines between the chin and the neck, the lines of the cleavage, and we can clean all of that up using our paintbrush tool. All we're going to do is we're going to switch to a black paintbrush and go back and clean up the hard lines, which you're seeing me do on screen right now. We want all lines of clothing clear. We don't want any blurring on the clothing. We don't want the eyes blurred. We don't want the hair blurred. We don't want the eyebrows blurred. Anything that should be a hard line needs to be a clean cut, including jewelry, body lines, and clothing lines. And once we're done here, I'll click the layer on and off so you can see a before and after of the blur effect. For the next step in our process, we're going to hold down the Command key and we're going to click on the mask that we just created. What this is going to do is make a selection of all the white positive areas that we painted on the mask, which is also going to show us if there's any errors in our masking process. Looks like we're doing pretty good here. Once we've created our selection, we're going to create a new empty layer and we're going to go to Edit, Fill, and we're going to set it to 50% gray. This is going to create a neutral light layer for us. Once we have that neutral light layer, we're going to go to Filter, Noise, Add Noise. We're going to set the amount to 4% and we're going to set the distribution to Gaussian and click OK. And then set that layer to soft light. What we've just done here is we've added back in the pores that we took out when we were blurring her skin. We can hit Command D to deselect, and then we're just going to merge those three layers together. Once we've merged those three layers together, we can turn the layer off and back on again a couple times so we can see a before and after of the filter that we've just applied. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the entire process for a proper skin glamour filter. From here, it's just a bit of color correction to finish the photo, which is what you're seeing happen on screen, albeit a bit sped up right now. I'm not going to bore you with the details of that process. I'll actually probably break that down in a future video for you. As always, if you like what you see here, make sure to subscribe to the channel, ring the bell to get notifications, and share this video with all your friends. As always, thanks for watching.